What I'm going to say, remember the history of Putin saying 20 years ago that the breakup of the Soviet Union was a geopolitical disaster of the 20th century, and Putin's goal is to reestablish the Soviet empire. And we see that going on every day with how he's destroying Ukraine. So everyone interested in religious freedom in Russia and Ukraine should read the recent report by the Free Russia Foundation. The Free Russia Foundation is an organization of Russians who want, quote, a free, democratic, peaceful, and prosperous Russia reintegrated into the international community as a constructive and positive actor, end of quote. This organization's recent report, entitled The Russian Orthodox Church and the War, demonstrates how this church body supports the ongoing invasion of Ukraine through propaganda, ritual for the invaders, diplomatic manipulation, and espionage. Now, doesn't that seem very odd for a church, any church, to have that as goals? The Russian Orthodox Church is also actively engaged in suppressing and persecuting other Christian denominations, including Orthodox believers who do not answer to Russia. It seems shocking to me to see Russians talk about the main Christian denomination in Russia in this way. But remember this: after initially persecuting Orthodox believers, dictators Joseph Stalin co-opted the Russian Orthodox Church to support the Soviet state. At that time, Russian Orthodox faithful outside of Russia broke all ties with the Soviet-installed patriarch. Today's Russian Orthodox Church is dominated by leaders who came of age under the KGB-controlled church structure. Now understand this: the current patriarch of Moscow was a KGB agent, so it's no wonder that he is close to Putin. The Free Russia report documents the Moscow patriarch's blessing of the brutal Russian invasion of Ukraine. It quotes the patriarch's September 2022 sermon, quote, "Anyone who dies in the performance of military duty sacrifices himself for the sake of others. Quote, therefore, we believe that such a sacrifice washes away all sins previously committed," end of quote. Now, as a Christian, and I hope for any Christian, I find that shocking. So does the ecumenical patriarch of Constantinople, the first among equals in the Orthodox tradition. He said of the Moscow's patriarch's support for the war, for Putin and this war, quote, "It is damaging to the prestige of the whole of Orthodoxy because Orthodoxy doesn't support war, violence, or terrorism," end of quote. There's been a lot of propaganda claiming that the Russian Orthodox Church is somehow a victim of religious persecution in this war. In fact, it is a leading perpetrator of persecution of fellow Orthodox believers, evangelicals, and other churches. I had a chance to meet a year ago with 30 church leaders from Ukraine that told how this persecution was going on. Don't take my word for it, though, but read this report that I have quoted from by these pro-democracy Russians. I yield the floor.